guys? So today we have a rematch against Rob Lucci. Lamb piloting the Lucci deck once again, and I am on the left side piloting the Boa deck. I think this matchup is heavily Lucci favored just because Boa doesn't have any KO immunity. But let's see how I deal with this rematch here. Lamb does open up with the stage, which is really devastating for us because that stage essentially allows him to pop any tall creatures on my board. But first couple turns are pretty slow. I'm able to connect an 8 into his leader, and him doing the same with 7 is able to connect as well. He does use a Spandam, grabs a 2k to hand, which is bad news for us, but luckily his second Spandam whips there, so not too bad for us. I think right here it would be best to try to dig for late game just because he doesn't have too much presence on board. 2 Spandams is not gonna threaten us too much here, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do, but unlucky I whiffed as well. So we'll see what I can do with another 4 Dawn remaining. Yep, so I end up using the Trafalgar Law to pitch a card out of his hand. And that's the thing with blue decks, is slight misplay here. Lamb should have bottom decked the card that he removed from it, but he ends up pitching it to the trash. Doesn't really change anything in the game state, so that's just something that I definitely have to look out for, because in close matches, I know that Rob Lucci players depend on having CPs in their grave, so if their grave is thin, it's something that I need to remind the other player. But that last turn looks like he just swung 6 in the lead, which got countered out, and dropping the Sabo to filter through his hand. And now I get to start my 7 Dawn turn. 7 Dawn is a little awkward, especially if they don't have 2 bodies for me to Gravity Blade. Just because it does feel really to try to Gravity Blade only one character. So I end up using the X-Drake, just setting up, hopefully allowing me to dig for some late game. And I end up using the Great Eruption to just get rid of one of the Spandams and swing a little taller than I could have otherwise. Going 8 into lead means that if he wants to block with Sabo, he would have to ditch 2 cards to keep the Sabo alive. Otherwise, if I swung 7, Sabo is a pretty easy block with just 1 2k. And him not blocking with the Sabo there tells me that he probably just has a bunch of 2ks in hand. But he swings 8 into lead, giving me the same option, but I opted to let the X-Drake go. The reason for that is because with this stage up, if he drops a Rob Lucci like he does here, that X-Drake is going to die either way, so it's a good thing I got the block off when I did. So now his board is a little more menacing. He has 2 6k bodies on board. It's not good that I'm not really able to develop much, but thanks to the X-Drake, I did put a Boa on top there, able to play her out, get rid of 1 Spandam, and Great Eruption here, drawing a card off of leader effect, and then swinging tall again. So if he wanted to block with Sabo, he would have to commit more cards to defend, but he opts to just take the hit there. So going into his 10 Dawn turn, really tough for that Boa to stick around, especially since I saw him grab the Tempest Kick last turn. But he's able to use his stage and that Tempest Kick to lower the Boa down to 1, I believe, and removing it with another Rob Lucci. And so he swings 6 in the lead here, just dropping a Khalifa so that he can draw more, filter more here. And keep in mind, one of his Rob Luccis are stunned, and he opts not to swing with the Sabo blocker. So seeing 2 Rob Luccis on board, that's a really good opportunity for me to drop the Gravity Blade here if I have it in hand. Looks like the Tashigi whiffed for me as well, so just a really unlucky 2 searchers I have this game, but I did have the Gravity Blade in hand anyways, and being able to draw off of leader ability feels good here. I think I end up just swinging 7 to lead, which gets blocked by that Sabo, and he's able to just pitch 1 2K. And that's that for my turn. So being able to bottom the Rob Luccis feels really good against black decks, just because, especially with Rebecca Spandine running around and Gecko, you want to deny them being able to recur their Rob Lucci. So back on his 10 Dom turn, and imagine Tashigi staying on board here, so any swings he's doing is going directly to face. I counter out an easy 5k with a 1k counter, and he swings another 5 at lead. And only reason why I took this was because I didn't want to get too low just yet, or too low in hand count, just especially with his bigger bodies coming out. I want to save it in case he swings into my characters. But luckily I did get a Gravity Blade trigger here. The reason why I triggered it instead of keeping it is because with Kaido coming down, that Gravity Blade would have needed to wait another turn for me to use it, and I just didn't want to give him too much pressure on board, especially having to take that hit from Khalifa. But Rob Lucci is able to answer the Kaido here. I believe he has 2 Tempest Kicks. Yeah, and that was basically the nail in the coffin there. Having 3 Tempest Kicks in one game is really devastating. Just because when you commit 10 Dawn into one character, and that character being removed from the field, that just removes so much pressure from your side of the board. So looks like Lamb's going to be able to remove this Kaido and develop a Gecko Moria. I need to... So he swings 5 into life here, gets countered out. And yeah, it's not looking good for us. So me playing with 6 Dawn there, probably have another Boa in hand. Being able to stun the Gecko would be great. And then spinning that Seru to draw a card. But let's see what he does here. He counters out. It's great for us that he commits a 2k for that. Just because the lower his hand gets, the more pressure we can get, since he won't be able to pop everything that I placed out. But yep, exactly. I get the Boa off to stun and spin, allowing me to draw a card, and then the Jinbei is really big. So I'm hoping he doesn't have his fourth Rob Lucci. That would be absolutely devastating. But yeah, having three bodies on board allows me to play a little bit more offensively. I think he's playing with 5 Dawn here, so that makes me think that he doesn't have a Rob Lucci. Even a Sabo would be devastating, but I think that would be an easy rip for him, so my guess is that he doesn't have either. So he lowers the Boa down to 4, Rob Lucci lowers it down to 3, and tapping 5 here, or swinging 6 first. I believe I counter out of this one as well. And he does drop the Kaku and pops my Boa here. Dropping another Sabo on the right. Really bad news for us, having so many blockers up with powerful bodies means that we either need another Gravity Blade, which is really unlikely. We already found 2. Gravity Blade, or maybe another Kaido. Hopefully that one sticks around. So I did have the Garp helping me filter as well, but maybe too little too late here since his board is so large. Definitely ideal to try to remove things if I had the answers. But I believe this is a misplay. I need to double check, but I believe Garp also bottom decks his filters. So that's something I need to keep in mind as well. I don't think it affects the outcome of this game, but still need to remind myself this. Playing with the blue decks, still getting used to it. I opt to swing 6 into his Rob Lucci here, just because I know he values his bodies on board. Looking back here, I think I should have swung 8-8 into his Rob Lucci, just to guarantee that he commits either more counter or commits his blockers to save him or let him go. Just because developing that Jinbei here, I don't think is too worth it, considering black decks have so much removal. I don't think that Jinbei is going to be sticking around for long. So I end up trying to save my Jinbei really hard here. Obviously, hindsight, I should have let him go, but with only 2, I think he has 2 or 3 cards in hand, I didn't think he would have even more removal. But he uses his stage, another Gecko, and this basically spells GG's on our side here. So he does the Spandine Rebecca combo and is able to bring out another Rob Lucci to pop both of our warlords here. Yeah, so I think last turn definitely the right play was to remove the Rob Lucci, just so he gets 1 less swing, meaning meaning I'm able to save a couple cards in my hand here. But just a small hindsight, I'm not sure if, you know, that 1 swing really changes the outcome of this game. So with 10 Dawn up, I think here, not sure what could have saved me here. I think I'm pretty much cooked either way. I do have a Gravity Blade here, so I just get rid of both of the blockers in trying to swing 8 into Rob Lucci. Hindsight, I think I should have just gravity bladed the Lucci and Sabo here, swung 8 in the lead. My reasoning was I just didn't want to give him more cards if he just ate the card and then next turn just crack back with whatever card I gave him out of life. But he did have the counter for it in hand, which is very surprising. So if I were able to survive this onslaught, he would have ran out of gas the next turn. It's just I didn't have it. So he ended up taking this match here. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.